Hello everybody, I'm Nafis Ali and today I'm bringing you a video on how to fix the spacebar on a 2022 Samsung laptop, which is either not working at all or which leads to various glitches such as automatically typing digits onto your screen or even sometimes forcing the screen down. As a disclaimer in the beginning of this video, I'm not a profession or a big computer tech expert, in which there's other people out there who could know more than me, and my solution may not be for everyone. So I encourage for everyone who's watching this to seek professional guidance for anyone who has been dealing with the same keyboard issue as me, just to point it out in the beginning of this video. Now let's dive in. I was able to fix the problem with help on this specific Samsung laptop model at home, in which I'll display on the screen. Keep in mind that each keyboard for each model may be different. Anyways, the current laptop I currently have is a 2022 Samsung laptop, in which I got for nearly $1,000 back in 2022, and is currently 4 years old. Now, around September of 2025 or earlier, an enormous problem arose with my device where the space button doesn't work at all, and it became a huge problem, such as affecting me from completing work or other digital tasks. However, this device did have a touchscreen, and so I activated my on-screen keyboard in order to complete my work. However, it does later become a pain and not really the sufficient way to complete work for the long term. However, after several months of not working at all, the space button suddenly began to work for a week or two, then stopped. Then the cycle kept repeating again. I originally assumed that it was some sort of a malware or virus or any outdated drivers. However, despite reinstalling or checking for any malware, didn't really solve the issue. Then it came for me to realize that it was more of a hardware issue. Now, if you brought it to a local tech repair, a lot of people, or at least in my personal experience, may state that it requires the entire keyboard to be replaced, including the inside machinery and auxiliary equipment, which may cost about $100 and plus manual labor charge leading to over $200 and may not be even worth it. If you search online on apps like eBay or Facebook Market page, you may find a keyboard replacement, but that's if you have the skill to manually separate all the equipment inside the lower section and be able to carefully reinstall each part, in which that's something I'm not really an expert of. Or there's no guarantee if that will work and your computer will running smooth like how it was when it was brand new. Now, to understand, all the keys from the keyboard are connected to the membrane or the grid, which contains multiple metal wires which transfer signal codes to the motherboard, then to the main display system. Now, if you bring it to a repair store, the technician may state that it's simply not possible or feasible to fix one key, and that they may just have to replace the entire grid, including with the auxiliary equipment. Now, the issue can occur if any form of liquid substance penetrates under the keycaps or inside the laptop, which often leads to a short circuit. This can also occur if a heavy amount of dust and particles seeks under the keycaps, in which can also block signals. Also, if you have accidentally one day dropped your laptop from your hand, or if it fell off from a high platform, could have also led to the issue. Sometimes, in most cases, just going to Device Manager and updating your keyboard drivers may fix the problem, or just scanning for any malware or virus. However, if you truly believe that the issue is related to hardware, you can simply open your keycap and check for any debris or any loose panels. Now, how do you open the spacebar? Now, simply, you can use a keycap opener in which you can buy online from websites like Amazon, which usually cost around $2 to $7. For me, I have actually used a small pin from a screwdriver to safely open the cap. However, I do not encourage anyone else to do it the way that I did, because it risks damaging the cap cover and the internal parts inside. So as advised, I recommend for all of you to use a cap opener instead, unless if you want to take the same risk like me. Anyways, in my case, originally I have noticed some debris jammed into the white plates and around the frame. So I have used a brush and gently cleaned it out and put the cap back in place. It did work for a week, then it stopped. Then I opened the keycap again, and this time I used an eraser tip to tap the center and noticed that it worked. So I originally assumed that the top lid wasn't properly fastened with the center rubber circle. With help, I've taped a bit of cotton, and it did actually work for a couple hours. Please don't do what I did if you're not sure or not an expert. Following day, the button stopped working again. I then tried to press it down a couple times, then the internal machine began an alert noise. Then I quickly shut down my laptop. I then opened the keycap again and removed the cotton as it didn't solve the issue. Eventually, with help, I've decided to take a look inside the undercarriage and carefully open the cover. Now, one side of the laptop was already propped open, probably occurred from a damaged screw. Once I safely opened the laptop, I've noticed there were frame cracks where the bottom lid assembled with the top. A piece of nail was stuck in the cool-down wheel, along various components being dusty. With help, I've carefully begun brushing dusty sides and removed the nail. Since I'm not a major computer expert, I didn't go further into unscrewing various other components or even opening the white plastic Samsung brand sheet, and instead just reattached the bottom part and used tape on the broken frame side. The space button still didn't work. Eventually, when again looking at the space button, I've noticed the white panel was slightly loose or appearing abruptly on the left side. Using a small metallic object, I've carefully tried to push it back in and decided to carefully inspect other keys such as the backspace, enter, and up/down buttons, and I found a lot of dust and carefully cleaned them. Once reinstalling each cap again, surprisingly everything began to work again. Now I do still suggest using a keycap opener, as if you look very closely, or I don't know if you can notice, but there is a small crack in the spacebar, probably from picking on it with a thin screwdriver. Well, I can't guarantee whether or not I myself even know how long this would work or if it would solve the issue for the long term. But hey, at least it's working, and you can probably get a few months or maybe a few years use out of it before eventually getting a new one. The reason I made this video because there's a chance that there's other people like me who is dealing with the same issue I've experienced, or at least I can provide a couple ideas on how to fix the broken spacebar issue yourself. Cause most technicians, or at least in my region, may charge a lot for labor and may just say that the entire grid along with the undercarriage components needs to be fully replaced, in which is costly, and some technicians may just state that it's simply not worth it and just buy a new laptop. Now, if you search online like Amazon, you may find laptops which are priced between $250 to $300, which have over 300 gigabytes of storage, full 5G network, and Windows 10 to 11 installments, which may be off-brand products. But some people like me, that just because of one key not working on your current laptop, despite newer models coming in cheap rate, the existing one you currently have was about $1,000 or around $700, and that you simply haven't gotten the full use of it and simply don't want to get a new one, or that the repairs would be too costly as mentioned, or you're trying to fix the issue yourself and you're pretty much confused on what you're going to do. So the methods I've tried in my personal experience, as of now, my laptop is working, the space button is working, and everything seems normal, but I would still say again, be sure to understand what the issue is exactly is and seek professional help if needed, and always ask a family member or if you know somebody who's in tech expert. Anyways, thanks for watching and see you on the next one.